All right, so get this. You guys have really sent us down a rabbit hole this time.
with this me and the boys wrestling stuff. And honestly,
Yeah.
I am so here for it.
We're talking match results that I got to tell you had me yelling at the screen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, big time. And the backstage drama. Forget about it. It's like a soap opera back there.
And don't even get me started on the future of the league. Everyone's got a theory.
I bet.
Luckily, I've got our expert here to help us break it all down.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at all this, like big picture, what jumps out at you first?
Honestly, I think it's the unpredictability that really gets you.
I mean, this season of Me and the Boys threw some serious curveballs, you know?
Sure.
We're watching these power dynamics completely shift right in front of us.
Absolutely. And I'm a sucker for a good upset. So let's talk match results because, wow.
Justin Trudeau, in his very first match, takes down Donald Trump. Never saw that coming, not even
Yeah.
on my bingo card.
Right. You got to wonder, is this like a fun little nod to what's happening in the real world, or are they setting Trudeau up to be a major player? It's that whole classic underdog story, but with Me and the Boys, you really never know.
And speaking of the unexpected, Dr. Volcano wins the Royal Rumble. Are you kidding me?
With all those allegations against him, talk about a ripped from the headlines storyline.
It's a bold move, I'll give them that.
Right.
I mean, are the writers trying to, like, directly mirror real-world stuff, or are they just trying to stir up some controversy around Dr. Volcano's character?
Yeah.
Because how are fans supposed to react to a potential champion who's got that kind of baggage?
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting to me, and I want to hear your take on this.
Okay.
The Stroop and Marty the Magic Guy alliance.
Okay, yeah.
They just dominated the Royal Rumble. So was this like genius strategy, or did the game's algorithms just go haywire?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
And so many fans are trying to figure that out. See, there's this thing called the damage retention rule, which
Right.
basically means how much damage a wrestler carries over from match to match. And in events like the Royal Rumble, alliances are super important for survival.
Makes sense.
So is this duo like a stroke of genius or just a happy little accident? I guess we'll have to see how their storyline plays out.
Okay, hold on. Before we go any further, I want to make sure everyone listening is on the same page because
Sure.
not everyone might be familiar with all the little details of Me and the Boys. So, for those who are new to this whole thing, the Royal Rumble is this huge, epic brawl with a ton of wrestlers, and whoever's the last one standing, they get a shot at the championship.
Right.
So, yeah, the Stroop and Marty teaming up, kind of a big deal,
It's huge. And then on top of that, you've got that damage retention rule.
which adds this whole other level of strategy because wrestlers can't just go all out in every single match.
Right, be chaos.
They got to be smart about it, conserve their energy, and yeah, maybe even team up with someone temporarily just to survive.
It's like chess, but with, folding chairs and power bombs.
Yeah.
And speaking of power moves, did you see Frank Weiser absolutely demolish Fisson's that Hell in a Cell match?
Brutal.
Oh, absolutely brutal.
But Weiser's a perfect example of how fast things can change in Me and the Boys. Like, he went from 0 to 60, from nobody to a total force to be reckoned with.
I know.
And that win against Fitz. And Fitz is a veteran, he's been around.
Oh, yeah.
That says a lot about Weiser's potential.
Absolutely. But we can't forget about DUI. Starts out strong, 3 title defenses, looking unstoppable, and then bam, dethroned just like that. You got a feel for the guy, right?
It's that classic wrestling thing, the rise and fall, and that's where the booking man comes in.
Oh, yeah, the puppet master.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The person behind the scenes who decides who wins, who loses, who gets to fight who. It's all about creating a good story.
Exactly. Now, for anyone listening who might be new to all this and they're wondering, who the heck is this booking man they keep talking about? Just imagine there's this puppet master, right? And they're controlling the destiny of all these wrestlers. They decide who's going to be champion, who's going to go on a losing streak, who's going to have a heated rivalry.
It's all about making sure the fans are entertained.
Exactly. And in DUI's case, this whole losing streak could be the start of an amazing comeback story.
Or, the beginning of a very sad and slow decline into obscurity. We've seen it happen.
True. But hey, at least Big Dubs is killing it.
I was just going to say.
Double champion. Holding the Me and the Boys title, and the QLW title.
That's got to be some kind of record, right?
It's got to be close.
Yeah.
It's incredibly rare, that's for sure.
But Big Dubs is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers, He's a master strategist in that ring, always one step ahead.
Sure.
He knows when to make alliances, when to go it alone, and he just dominates.
Yeah.
He's a perfect example of how cunning and skill can make you a king in the Me and the Boys world.
And while Big Dubs is out there, like, Adding to his championship belt collection, we can't forget about the real drama.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's happening outside the ring with this whole poisoning storyline. I am living for it.
It's such a classic move, though,
So you
right?
get the fans all paranoid. Nobody knows who to trust. Everybody's a suspect.
Exactly. You could be challenging for a title one day and then, bam, struck down with some mystery illness the next.
Accusations flying everywhere. Fans going wild on social media. I love it.
And speaking of keeping the fans guessing, can we talk about the masked assailant for a second?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
This masked, what do they even call him? A menace.
Menace. Yes.
Jumping the booking man. And DUI. What is going on?
Okay, seriously. Who is this guy?
Like, what are they trying to do? Burn the whole me and the boys system to the ground?
And this is exactly what I was talking about before with the whole puppet master thing, remember?
Right, the booking man.
The masked assailant goes after the booking man, and suddenly there's no one in control. It's anarchy.
And just when you think you can't get any crazier, we have DMP winning the main event. And that victory speech. What was that about? Is he talking about some new world order for me and the boys wrestling? Give me your best tinfoil hat theory here.
DMP's a smart guy, you know. He doesn't miss a trick.
He's been waiting for his chance, and it feels like he's ready to take over, make the league his own.
It does, doesn't it? And remember all those complaints he had?
Oh, yeah, he's been very vocal about that.
About everything, the matchups, the sponsorship deals, everything.
You think he's going to flip the whole system on its head?
Wouldn't surprise me one bit. And if he manages to pull it off...
It's going to change me and the boys wrestling forever.
I know. What happens to all the veterans then?
Right,
What kind of alliances are going to form?
Yes, this is where things get really interesting.
Totally.
Okay, but before we spiral too far down the rabbit hole of what ifs.
We got to talk about LeBron Strowman's Facebook rant.
Oh, man.
I mean, come on. Talk about a passionate fan base. This is why we love this stuff.
It shows you how invested people get in me and the boys wrestling. You know, it's not just watching matches, it's the whole world they've created.
It really is.
The characters, the storylines, the drama behind the scenes.
All of it.
It's like that line between fiction and reality gets all blurry, and it's kind of awesome.
It's so true. You can't help but get sucked in. But on a slightly more, I guess, technical note,
Okay.
there's been some talk about the game itself, like its limitations and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen some of that.
Fans are asking for new stuff, like guest referees, different types of matches.
Right, they want to switch things up.
Exactly. More customization, you know.
Right.
They want to really make it their own.
That makes sense, though, right? I mean, gaming is always evolving.
Always.
People want more control. They want to be more immersed in that world.
Totally.
And in this case, it's not just about playing the game. It's about feeling like you're a part of creating that me and the boys world, you know?
They want to be the booking man, calling all the shots.
Exactly. Booking the matches, coming up with wild storylines.
Maybe even designing the costumes.
I love it.
The possibilities are endless.
And speaking of possibilities, let's give a shout out to the sponsors who help keep this whole thing going. 420 DNA.
Holden Rose Coffee, D-Wolf Hydration, and of course, Ha Manor, keeping things spooky year-round. Right, we have covered so much ground here.
So much.
So if we had to break it down, what are the biggest takeaways from this deep dive?
I think the biggest thing is that this season of Me and the Boys Wrestling has been all about shaking things up.
Oh, yeah.
Like the old ways, the old power structures, gone. We've got new champions, unexpected alliances, betrayals, drama, you name it.
It's been wild. So with DMP kind of running the show now, what do you think is going to happen next season?
Well, if DMP's past is anything to go by, I think we can expect the unexpected.
Right. The guy thrives on chaos.
Exactly. He could completely change how the league works.
For sure.
New alliances, old rivalries coming back, who knows? It's going to be a wild ride, that's for sure.
Out of everything that's gone down, what do you think has been the biggest twist this season?
You know, the whole thing with the masked assailant is just weird, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, we still don't know who's behind that mask or what they really want, but they are definitely making moves.
Big moves.
And the fact that they went after the booking man, that changes everything.
It really does. And that's what makes this so much fun to follow.
Right.
It's like this big, crazy story that's still being written.
And we all get to be a part of it.
Exactly. So what do you think is going to happen next season in Me and the Boys Wrestling? Hit us up on social media and let us know your predictions.
Until then, keep diving deep, everybody.